Alright guys, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how I'm feeling right now. This is the last Ubisoft video I think I'm going to make, but my friends, after going through all of those numbers and just looking at my average playtime across the last few years in my Ubisoft games versus other games that have come out, I'm truly, like, I'm not even lying when I say I'm truly disappointed that, you know, I didn't see this coming, and my fanboy for Ubisoft, you know, pretty much deluded me and made me not really see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, I've recommended a lot of Ubisoft games since I've had this channel, and while I personally still don't feel like I've made a bad choice in buying those games, I can see how, you know, influencing other people to buy these games was a bad thing. And man, I don't know. We get so caught up in the things that we like and the things that we love, and we, as content creators, or just people in general, it's tough, man. It is very hard to create content, especially on YouTube. Now, over the last 4 years, I feel like I have rushed through a lot more stuff than I normally would have had I not had the channel, had I not been trying to put out content or make videos or things of that nature. I feel like my focus has been so just all over the place in terms of, you know, what I'm actually trying to do. And it's not like I've ever lied to anybody when it comes to Ubisoft. Like, I've told everybody straight up, I am a Ubisoft fanboy, and I've made that perfectly clear that, like, out of everything, Ubisoft is probably that one thing that I was like super fanboy. I would say super fanboy. When it comes to things like Xbox or PlayStation or PC or AMD or any of those other type of things, I'm nowhere near as invested fanboy wise as I was in like my Ubisoft games. My Ubisoft games were always that comfort food for me, to where I used to be able to literally just sit in there and spend days and hours just playing those games. And it's crazy to think that I go back and I look at all of them games since freaking pretty much Ghost Recon Breakpoint / Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Everything since then, my average playtime in those games has plummeted. You know, I mean, maybe I'm buying all those other games in like hopes of getting that feeling from like my Assassin's Creeds or my Ghost Recons or something like that. I definitely feel like that there's probably more the case, you know, not being as invested in some of these other games that have come out, you know, like Avatar. I was never even invested in the shows. So Avatar, you know, you look at something like, I mean, Riders Republic, that one right there kind of like, that one there kind of confuses me, because I spent a lot of time across 3 platforms in Steep, and now I look at, you know, Riders Republic, I'm like, why isn't that game clicking with me? And to be completely honest with you, it's the heavy focus on the social aspect of Riders Republic and just the clutteredness of the world. Like, it just feels too cluttered. I wanted a mountain bike game, and I got mostly more snowboarding, and it's like, dude, I've spent a lot of time in Steep. I don't need any more snowboarding. I need the mountain bike aspect of what Riders Republic was supposed to be. That is what I wanted, and it's just too, there's just too much. There's just too much in it, and it doesn't have that realistic tone that Steep did for me. Steep was definitely arcade, but it felt more realistic, in at least in size of scope of the mountains and the mountain range and stuff like that. Like, that was a fun game to explore and find cool spots to snowboard. The majority of my time on that game was snowboarding. Like, seriously, I would walk to the top of the mountains and then snowboard down them. Like, that to me was fun. I don't know why, it's just weird, but it was fun. And so when I look at what Ubisoft is becoming from where it's been, I get this sense of like, wow, these guys are clearly freaking lost the mark. And when I was watching this video from amzn.to, and he was like reacting to this guy that I guess was talking to like Ubisoft employees. So then I went out of amzn.to thing and I went and watched the original source from that guy, and him talking about like how, you know, the employees at Ubisoft are pretty much just feel like they're walking on eggshells and stuff, and it's just too hyper freaking toxic positivity over there and stuff. And I'm just like, my gosh, man, no wonder why things are literally just falling apart in gaming. There are way too many soft activist people in these damn companies. They need to get rid of them. Like, seriously, if you can't, you know, make freaking products that people want to buy, nobody cares about your damn feelings. When we're out here playing video games, we don't care about your feelings. Like, we really don't. Like, do your job. Go to work for your 8 hours, do your job, put together the product, and then leave. You know, leave work at work and home at home. You know what I mean? It's pretty simple. Obviously, no employee should really have to deal with toxic bosses, but welcome to the world, man. Welcome to the world, man. You sometimes you're gonna have to deal with. You have to deal with it, or you move on. You know what I mean? Like, it's a simple choice. You either do the job that you're paid to do and do a good job doing that, or you leave and go find a different job. Don't try to. I don't know. I feel like because gaming developers are literally thrust into the public, there's more stuff. Because I mean, like, if you go look at other jobs and places, like, nobody ever talks about them. It's only the entertainment industry where everybody gets the light shined on them a lot more. And before, I don't know. I've never been that kind of person to like worship like game developers and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of people in the gaming community that do that, but I've never been that kind of person to even really go out of my way to like really figure out like who the freaking people are that are involved in making video games. I mean, like, obviously I know who, you know, Hideo Kojima is, but you know, like, most of them, like, I don't even, like, I've never even went out of my way to care who the directors are or who the people that are working there are. I just never cared. You know what I mean? And so when you get all of this, the problem with society is there's always somebody out there looking for a way to make negative content. There's always somebody looking for that. There's always somebody out there misconstruing things and putting their own spin on everything. And the thing is like, guys, I'm a genuine fan of Ubisoft games. Like, I am. Do I think that Ubisoft could fix this? Yeah, but they're gonna need to get rid of a lot of people for Ubisoft to at least go back to making the basic stuff that people want to play. Once they started trying to cast that wider net is when everything started falling apart. I would say Assassin's Creed Origins is, I think, right when it started. Because you had like Wildlands, and Wildlands was absolutely freaking incredible. The first Watch Dogs, absolutely freaking incredible. And then after that, things started falling apart. Things just started getting way too complicated. They started going all out on this, like, let's try to make this game for everybody. And that's when things really started falling apart. There was no more. They're not as tight knit as they used to be. Now the Assassin's Creed games getting bigger and stuff, I'm perfectly on board with that. I was perfectly on board with that. I freaking loved the last 3 Assassin's Creed games, the big open world ones. I even liked Assassin's Creed Mirage, but it was just so small that there's like really no reason to go back in there and play any more of that. Like, I got the story, it was fine. Like, I prefer the bigger Assassin's Creed games over the smaller ones like that. So I mean, that was apparent right when Assassin's Creed Origins came out. I was like, yep, I like the new direction. And I was like on board 100%. Before that, Unity was my favorite Assassin's Creed game. And that was probably because of the more gritty realisticness of that game. I kind of liked Syndicate, but that's definitely a lot lower on my favorite Assassin's Creed games. So that's the thing, guys. Like Ubisoft is definitely trying to grow outward and across, but they need to just go back to the basics and start making the games that people want to play. Splinter Cell, we want to play that. We want a new Splinter Cell game. I mean, we want it to go back to like the first 3 Splinter Cell type experiences, and not like I don't know, man. I kind of liked all of them, but Conviction is kind of where Splinter Cell started going kind of downhill for me. I was like, I don't know, I like it, but the action stuff, it's not. I would have much rather have been like a more intense, like stealth, than going all action. I liked the older Splinter Cells better. I mean, Pandora Tomorrow, that game was so freaking hard, but it was great. It was amazing. That I would rather have stuff like that than the stuff they're building now. Even if they went back and remade the first 3 games, Chaos Theory, Splinter Cell Stealth Action, and Pandora Tomorrow, even if they went back and just remade those games and brought them up to today's standards of visuals and made them look significantly better and have better controls and everything else, I think that would even be better. I think that would be better. That would be products that people would want to buy. And they're old enough now to where it makes sense to remake those. Those are cult classics. Like, we loved those games. Go back and maybe, redo like Future Soldier from Ghost Recon. Make that game like significantly better. I don't know. Ubisoft needs to go back to the basics. They need to. They need to figure out what the heck they're doing. This whole controversy surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows, honestly, guys, I probably wouldn't even have looked into this had they not delayed that game. If they would have just put it out, I would have just and still bought it and kept playing it and kept defending, Star Wars Outlaws. Let me be clear. I enjoyed my time with Star Wars Outlaws. I did. I don't have a major problem with it. It was just fine. Could it be better? Abso-freaking-lutely. That game could have been significantly better. But at the end of the day, I still played it. I bought the DLC when that comes out. I'll play through that. I still actually load into it and play it every once in a while. I just haven't had that desire to like just keep staying with it. Like, I got through the story content pretty dang quickly, and I was like, wow, that really is a short game. I think it should have been longer. I do. That's probably my only freaking real complaint, is that story should have been significantly longer and taken a lot more time. It should have been like, if it would have been like Assassin's Creed freaking like, if it would have been like Assassin's Creed freaking Valhalla length, like 60 hours, like that would have been better. But see, here's the thing. Like, I loved Valhalla. I played Valhalla religiously. I still play it. And the thing is Valhalla feels to me like, wow, this is England, Assassin's Creed. I'm exploring the countryside. I'm meeting things. I'm doing side quests. I felt like that was an experience to role play in medieval England as a Viking. That was freaking cool. Like, I love that, going to France and going to, Ireland and all of that stuff. Like, that was cool to me. I really enjoyed that. And so when you fast forward to Star Wars Outlaws, like, yeah, there's these big maps. A couple of them feel really corridory, but there's not enough content story-wise on each planet to really be like, oh yeah. I mean, obviously the contracts or whatever, but like the story content, the from beat to beat to beat, it was quick, it was condensed, and I was like, all right, cool, I beat it. That's fine, but I wanted to be in that world. I wanted to have to actually flesh out some of the some of the stuff, you know, to actually be in there. Like, it could have been significantly better, and I really do hope that they continue to work on that and make it better, flesh that game out a lot more, because it deserves it. It's a Star Wars freaking game, for heck's sake. But it's one of those things where, like, yes, you could tell all the budget was probably put into Assassin's Creed Shadows, and that's true. And them moving away, them freaking delaying that game till February pretty much screams like, "Ooh boy, we need to distance this from from Outlaws. We need to move this away from it so that we can sell it." But they're already, man, Ubisoft already freaking put their foot in their mouths when they made Yasuke an assassin. They should have never done that. I was okay with it. Like, I'm still okay with it. I'll still play it, but I don't know if they should have did that. I don't know if they should have done that. I think they probably should have had a male protagonist as a samurai from Japan. They should have. Obviously, Naoi is fine, whatever, as a shinobi, but they absolutely should have had a Japanese character or a protagonist for the samurai in that game. Like, I get, like, the whole stature and everything of Yasuke being significantly bigger than the average, you know, like, Japanese person. Like I get that, like, the whole tank build, you know, being a brute and all of that stuff for the game and for the gameplay purposes. Like, I get that. That makes sense. And I think that once people play it, they'll probably feel the same way. They'll be like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. It was probably better for the build, but we didn't need a samurai. We didn't need a samurai protagonist. We just needed an assassin, because it's an Assassin's Creed game. We needed shinobis. We needed shinobis, not freaking samurais. You know what I mean? Like, Ubisoft always doing some weird stuff to try to change up a formula or do this or do that. And if it isn't broke, don't fix it. If you want to improve on it, improve on it. But I don't know. I would have much rather them focused heavily on upgrading the parkour for the Assassin's Creed over a whole new brute play mechanic. I mean, it's fine. I'll play it and I'll probably enjoy it for the most part, but I would have much rather them focused on the parkour, you know, and other, like, more assassins type content that is relevant to the Assassin's Creed franchise. Now, I don't know, guys. I'm pretty broken up, honestly. To be completely honest with you guys, like, Ubisoft has been one of my favorite publishers for a very long time now. I mean, I'd even buy the Just Dance games and stuff too, you know, just to support Ubisoft. And now that I look at it in hindsight over the last, you know, 4 years or whatever, like, Ubisoft definitely is on a downward trajectory, and it's because they refuse to make the small games that everybody still loves. The Splinter Cells, and, you know, some of the other stuff that they're just not, you know, the Prince of Persias and the games that made them great. They're moving away from, and they're just filling it with everything else. Like, yeah, I would love to have had an open world freaking Splinter Cell game, a full on open world stealth Splinter Cell game. That would have been cool, you know. But here we are, that we're yeah, I don't know. It really does kind of feel like everything is just being rubber stamped when it comes from Ubisoft now. And that sucks to admit, but it is true. So, all right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.